Hello everyone, I'm Rich Lamont and welcome back to the channel. So today's fly comes as a subscriber request. So today we're tying the Lady Caroline fly. This is a Spey pattern, classic Spey pattern, as you can see here. It's a very nice, somewhat simple Spey pattern that doesn't involve a whole lot of ingredients. So let's begin. I'm going to start with a Daiichi 2051 salmon hook. This is a 3/0. And again, I'm going to start with my 150 denier thread. Lay down a quick thread base. Again, as with most Spey flies, we stop before the hook point instead of after. A lot of salmon flies, you'll come down to about where the barb is instead. Here, we're going to stop right about where the hook point is. Our tag is some gold embossed tinsel. You can see here it's got like stamping in it. It's just to give it a little bit of extra color or reflection. This is Uni-French brand. You can see there. And then we'll tie this back. I'm going to go just a little bit past that hook point. And then back forward. And right here, when you make your first wrap, you want to make sure you get that smoothed out a little bit. That could leave a little bump there. And then you want to wrap these with your turns all touching each other. And the tail for this is going to be the breast feather from a golden pheasant. So here you've got a golden pheasant pelt. You're going to want to take the breast feather from right in here somewhere. So the length on it doesn't need to be overly long for this one. So we'll take one with a little bit of, what I would say, like a medium length. And then we'll just strip away all this. And you see the feather's got a natural curve upward. So you want to follow that and you want to use that natural curve for the tail. There we are. we go. I'm going to wrap that most of the way up the hook shank just to kind of keep the body a little bit on the even side. The tinsel for the body is again going to be the flat embossed gold tinsel and then some silver oval tinsel. So we'll get the gold embossed tinsel, and for the silver oval I'm using Vivus. Most of these are relatively easy to find. Do a quick Google search, or ask your local fly shops. But a lot of this is relatively easy to get a hold of. Okay, so the gold tinsel, we'll take and tie that in. And then the silver oval as well. The silver oval is rather large in diameter, so one thing you can do to keep diameter down if you want to is strip away some of this tip, and that'll reveal some of the thread underneath, and you can just tie in using the thread under there. That'll give you a little bit of a thinner profile on the body. This one is supposed to actually have wool on the body, but I don't have the color wool for this, so I'm using silk floss. And the silk floss I've kind of roughed up to give it a wool look. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. But because of that, wool is a little bit thicker, the silk floss not so much. So I've decided to do it this way as far as keeping the body somewhat even and a little bit on the thicker side, just to give it a little bit more depth. Okay, so this is my floss that I've gone through and just roughed up real good. And you can see here, this is the floss I'm using, so it is quite smooth to start with. So we'll go ahead and tie this in. Oh. Before I forget, our hackle, we should tie that in first. Hackle for this is either heron, or you could use blue-eared pheasant. In this case I'm going to use heron, but I've only got black heron. I don't have gray heron, so this one will be a little bit on the darker side, which is alright. And I'm also going to use some rather thick, wispier parts rather than this. Check the length. When tying this, you want to check the length on the barbs of your either your pheasant or your heron. You want it to extend past the bend of the hook. About a quarter to half the length of the hook shank itself. So if we're tying in, that one should be plenty long. This one will be just about long enough, and quite full. Let me see here. Well, I think that might be a little short. Okay, we're going to go with the thinner one. I've decided. If you're unsure where to measure on here, I'll keep bumping the camera, apologize. If you're unsure where to tie in your hackle, you can always just mock wrap gently. And you'll see about where your tinsel is going to lay, and you want your heron to be on the back side of that tinsel. So we're going to tie in right here, just before the return on the eye of that hook. And we have a broken thread. Quite all right. That happens. Okay. Okay, now while you're doing your body, you can just loop that over your hackle like that, and that'll kind of hold it in place for you. Now I kind of did this backwards. I should have just tied this in and left it, but that's all right. Give me a chance to thicken up the body just a tad more. The problem now is getting the hackle stuck in there. Okay. Start wrapping our body. Again, touching turns. If you're using, you're actually just using wool, you can use like knitting yarn. If you can get this at the, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, any of those. You can use any of that. This, I actually think, using the floss and then roughing it up kind of gives it a nice, little bit of a shine to it. Actually, I like the color I'm getting out of it. If it's not, fuzzy enough for you, you can always take like a piece of Velcro or a stiff bristled toothbrush or something like that. And you can just kind of go up and down it a little bit very gently, and that'll help break up some of those fibers as well and give it a fuzzier look to it. Okay, there's our body. Now we're going to wrap our flat gold embossed tinsel. Again, this little loop will help you out a little, getting that out of the way. Again, between 5 and 7 turns of tinsel is about what you need. I think 5 is more like the standard. Alright, and the silver gets reverse wrapped, or wrapped counterclockwise. As a matter of fact, there we go. No, sir, I do believe. My apologies. The gold is reverse wrapped, the silver is not. That is my mistake. So that's why we always leave just a little bit on the end of the tinsel when I first clip it off when I'm done tying it in, because if you make a mistake like that, you'll have a little bit to work with to redo it if you need to. Okay. Now the silver is actually tied in clockwise. Now when you're wrapping this, you want your silver to wrap in front of the hackle. You want the hackle to stay behind it. That is so that when you are fishing the fly, the tinsel protects the hackle. There we are. Now we can wrap our heron in. Apologize for bumping the camera. My setup has the arm very close to the vise to get a good nice shot, close-up shot of this. Alright, so as we're wrapping, we want to be mindful of the direction of these barbs. And as I said, you want to keep it on the back side of that gold tinsel. Keeping it on the back side of the gold tinsel also helps the tinsel will kind of push the hackle back a little bit as well. Okay, we've got that on there. And now we're going to select a breast feather again from the golden pheasant. This is for the throat. Now, so this, because it's the throat, we want it to be a little bit longer. So we want something that's going to be, it's going to have enough barbules that are long enough to reach the hook point from here. So on this side there's none quite long enough. We've got a couple long ones on the other side here. Let's see. This one is not quite long enough. this one. I think that's close enough. This one will tie in at the tip, not at the base like we did with the heron. Okay. So we'll take that and double it over. Pull out the heron back. Now if you want to, you can take that and that tip that you tied in, you can double that back, fold it backwards like this, tie it off again. That'll help lock it into place a little bit better, so that way you don't wind up with the feathers pulling out on you as you're trying to wrap. I've had that happen a few times, and that's never fun. Hackle and throat are complete. And take these and just kind of pinch them a little bit, just squeeze the fly a little, and that'll help lay these down and kind of settle them into place a little bit and get you a nice spot to put your wing. Alright, now we'll just clean up down here a little bit at the head and get that ready for the wing. You want to have a nice smooth mounting place for it. I'm just going to wax up our thread a little bit. Okay, now our wings are going to be some bronze mallard. I've got a pair of bronze mallard here. And the way we'll select these, we'll go through here. You want to see how big of a wing do you want. I'd like it to be a little bit longer than what that is, so we'll pull some more of that away, like so. And then you can kind of gauge how that's going to look lengthwise. So cut off the base of the feather, where that fluff is, and then I'll strip away this backside here. We don't need that. And then you cut, I'm going to use about that much. And when you cut that away, that's what you're left with. But it also keeps the rachis, the stalk of the feather. And then you need one for the other side to match. So we'll set that one down. Go to the other feather. Let's go ahead and mount our under wings again. Okay, and then we'll mount our outer wings. Technically not really an inner and an outer, it's just a double layer. There we are. And sometimes they can be a pain in the butt, sometimes not. This back side here is a hair too long. So we can just take this and pull right on this rackus here, and that'll help realign it, straighten them out. And go ahead and cinch that down tight. And we just need to clean up the excess around the head. One whip finish ought to suffice. And then we'll go ahead and just do a coat of black lacquer. The fly will require another coat later, but I can do that off camera. Just very gently. Spread that around. Now with the black lacquer, some of it will soak in just a hair, so you'll have to come back, reapply maybe 2 or 3 coats. Okay, and then you just go through and make a few adjustments. So we've got a couple of hackles that are sticking up through the wing a little bit, but that's all right. If you don't like those, you can snip those off. They really aren't going to hurt much. I'll just for appearance sake. And then you can adjust your wings, get your tips even. And here we are. Your completed Lady Caroline Spey fly. Here you are, Glenn. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you all out. And you know, if all of you like the content, give it a thumbs up. Maybe leave some comments. Let me know what you think. If there's things I can do better, please feel free to share. Let me know where I can make some changes to make the experience better for all of you. If you haven't subscribed, please go right ahead and subscribe. That'll help me out. That'll kind of help me keep creating content for you guys. And you know, share. If you got friends and family, people that love fly tying or that are interested in it and want to get into it, or some more experienced fly tyers that would like to get into salmon flies and Spey flies, some of the more difficult patterns, please share it with them and send them over to the channel. Have them take a look. I hope you guys are having a great day, and till the next video, tight lines. Take care.